Whether gaming has a positive or a negative educational influence is a question many have tried to answer. Sometimes you can read that games may be making you more aggressive. But most studies tend to agree that those conclusions are at the very least inconclusive. But can you learn something useful through gaming? I think we can all agree that gaming can potentially be dangerous. Whether it will be because you're a kid or even you will spend way too much time gaming, avoiding your responsibilities, or because you will be playing with toxic people who will slowly influence your behavior and make you toxic as well. Or even make you into a gambler with the ever so beloved loot boxes. Nobody is arguing that gaming doesn't have potential issues. But the question is, apart from giving you the chance to relax, are there some positives to gaming? Let's take a look at the three most cited positives of gaming today. Number 1, improving perception and reflexes. Number 2, better analytic and decision-making skills. And number 3, communication skills. There even was a study performed at the University of Glasgow where students took part in an experiment during which they had to game at least 14 hours in 2 months. They could play either Borderlands, Minecraft, or Portal 2, ideally in multiplayer. The questionnaire then showed the students showed a major improvement in all of the before mentioned categories, 70 to 80%. And they also felt much more confident. One of the students even said that gaming in the group helped him to get over anxiety of fitting in. The research lead, Matthew Barr, even said that playing in a group is similar to being in a hockey team. This is just one of the reasons why Barr wants schools to support gaming as extracurricular activities the same way they do with sports right now. Jane McGonigal, the author of the book Reality is Broken that talks about how gaming influences us, says games have a much larger impact than we are willing to acknowledge. But she also sees the positives in gaming. For example, gaming can provide some basic human needs that the real world might not be able to. The feeling of success, motivation to learn, feeling of belonging to a group, increased creativity, etc., etc. McGonigal is referring to a study that showed that children who played just 30 minutes of a quote-unquote pro-society game, in this case Super Mario Sunshine, tend to be much more willing to help out the whole next week. And people who start with Rock Band often start playing an instrument in reality. Or people who have a high-level character in World of Warcraft usually have more self-confidence and can better deal with difficult tasks. She even tried to find out what is the healthy norm for the amount of gaming you should be doing in a week. She says it's around 21 hours per week. But if you go over 28 hours a week, that is beginning to be unhealthy. But I don't think that many casual or even semi-hardcore players will go over this number, assuming they got school or work to attend to. Improving your reflexes and soft skills is certainly nice, but gaming can help you with logical thinking and give you some knowledge these days as well. Just take a look at any logical puzzle games or games that teach your children how to code. No, they will not teach your children JavaScript or Python, obviously, but they will instill logical and analytical thinking into them. Now, some may say these things get rarely used in the real world, unless you are a coder or are planning to become one. So, how about something a bit more real-worldy that you can learn in, let's say, World of Warcraft? 12-year-old Hans Olsen managed to save his sister from being attacked by a wild elk. When the elk attacked his sister, he remembered that animals usually attack the person who taunts them. And since his sister was obviously more of a DPS than a tank, he aggroed the elk to himself by throwing rocks and yelled at him. That worked so well that the elk managed to hit him. Then Hans remembered another useful skill from World of Warcraft. this time from the hunter class, and decided to play dead. The elk smelled him a couple times and decided he was no longer posing a threat and peacefully left. Another interesting case happened in 2007 when Paxton Galvanic, an avid America's Armies player, found himself at the site of a car crash. He had zero real-life experience providing first aid, but he completed hours of virtual training in the aforementioned game, which is very realistic. Thanks to that, Galvanic was capable of treating the injured by tying a towel around an ugly wound where the injured lost 2 fingers on his hand and making him hold his hand in the air so he would lose less blood. And games can also help you be more creative. Just take a look at music. Many authors of music actively play games and use them as inspiration. Especially when it comes to electronic music, many of the authors use sounds from 8-bit games. But gaming can go even further than this. For example, Minecraft is being used by the United Nations to help people struck by catastrophes. How? Well, they use it as a tool to help the people to visualize how their homes will look after the repairs. And because they can do that better, they can more easily give suggestions on how to improve the relief plans. Then we have the SimCity Special Edition known as SimCity EDU that is used to teach students about pollution. The students get a scenario in which they have to solve 10 environmental problems in their virtual worlds. Yes, they could obviously do studies for the same thing, but this provides a much more interactive and fun way to do the same thing. The use of games and gaming in general in education is obviously becoming more and more mainstream, and I don't expect it to stop. If anything, I'm expecting this trend to get even bigger in the coming years as more professors and teachers will have been gamers at a point of their lives as well.